But I do think, honestly, Rebecca, that this idea of collaboration and specifically needs to be reestablished in the body of Christ because
Mm.
marketplace business has muddied it so much, and people are coming with wounds to the table of collaboration. And I think if we're meant to do anything, we know the saying of like, you can, if you want to do something like yourself, go for it. But if we go together, we're going to get there faster. Right. Or all boats rise together. Right. All when the tide comes in.
Yes, yes,
And yet that's not
it's so
actually
true.
practiced frequently, though. And so, what you're talking about in navigating those waters feels a lot more murky than I think God ever intended for it to be, because we're not just thinking and protecting ourselves. We're protecting our brand. We want to protect the other person in that perspective.
Yeah,
And we want to protect our communities. And I've gone through
yes,
some wild partnership situations where I've had to pull back even the definition of what is partnership versus what is collaboration, what is working together with the body of Christ look like versus how have I been taught you have to do something quote unquote together with someone.
yeah, yeah. Because I too, like, we want this collaboration to work, but
Yeah,
it's really good that you gave me perspective of like the bullet point was pain levels for her.
yeah,
And I kind of picked up on that too.
sure.
And for me, I'm like, the more we dial this in, it feels like it limits where the spirit
Yeah.
behind a collaboration, the spirit of God is gonna fit in this nice, neat box.
Yeah. And that's not creative all the time, right? Like you're sometimes lacking
Amen.
the spirit's creativity through what he could do for you because you're coming from a lens of trauma, right? This actually links so beautifully to another conversation that I had this morning in regards to constructive feedback. We were having this whole conversation about the curriculum that's coming out with Founder Academy. And one of the gals that we asked to be on the board in the knowledge that she's going to come at it with another lens than we are because of industry that she's been in, because of the longevity that she's been in her career. And so she calls it devil's advocate. I like to call it angel's advocate because why would we give him pleasure in knowing that he's got constructive lens instead of criticism? It's just feedback. And so she reached back out to me and she's like, hey, I'm so sorry. I never want to step on toes. I just really want to come at it from another lens. And I'm like, that's exactly why I have you there. And I think you need to stop apologizing for it and instead let it be an invitation for God to work through you, because not everybody has that radar. Not everybody has that even gumption to face what could look like a confrontation, but she's really doing it to help other people. And yet, because of the traumas that people have in feedback and what does constructive feedback really look like, generally constructive feedback is not necessarily to help that person, but to make that person look like that person who is giving them the constructive feedback. Like, you're not good at doing that. It needs to be just like this, rather than actually helping them to the fullest extent to become all of who they were made to be, because that's where creativity comes into play. You can't fill a position, you can't start a partnership, you can't expect a collaboration with someone if you're not willing to let them flourish in who they're meant to be. Otherwise, we all look the same. That's so boring.